Welcome back to the Real Estate Wholesale Deal Room. I am your host, Ebony B. Cole, mortgage strategist, and this is where real estate deals get broken down. Real strategies get exposed, and you learn how to actually make money in real estate wholesaling with me. Now, today, I am going to be talking about something that is a little different that a lot of people, whether they real estate investors, real estate wholesalers, newbies, and when I say real estate wholesalers, understand some real estate wholesalers don't even understand this. They call themselves real estate wholesalers. That's because they're trying to get into it. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about what's the difference between an assignor and an assignee and the roles of each. But let me tell you this. If you don't understand these roles clearly, you're going to struggle in the real estate wholesaling business. You're going to miss deals. You're going to confuse buyers. You're going to leave money on the table. So whether you're brand new, trying to figure out real estate wholesaling and how it works, or you've done a few deals and you're trying to tighten up your structure and get paid bigger assignment fees, this particular episode is for you. I'm going to be talking about what an assigner really does, what an assignee expects of you, how the money actually flows in a deal, and how to position yourself so you stay in control of the deal from start to finish. Because see, one thing about wholesaling is not about owning the property. It's about controlling the opportunities and getting paid for putting the right people together. And once you understand that, everything else is changed. So let's go ahead. I need you to get comfortable, take some notes, make sure you subscribe, and we are going to talk about assignee, an assignor, and an assignment, and how these deals really happen. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, when it comes to being a wholesaler, like I said, it's really important to understand that the assignor is you. You are the assignor. You are the wholesaler. The assignor is the person who finds the deal, gets the property under contract with the seller, controls the deal, but does not own it. Okay, you don't own the property, but you are the one that controls that deal, and you partially are one of the people that controls that contract because your name is on there as the assignor. Okay, so with that being said, your job as an assignor is to assign, meaning transfer the contract to another buyer, and that other buyer is the assignee. So look at it this way. You're the deal finder, plus you're the deal creator. So you're the person that finds the deal and you create the deal. Now, what you do as a wholesaler, I like that. What you do as an assigner, you negotiate a good price with the seller. Okay, so you're going to negotiate that price. They have it listed for $100,000, and you're going to figure out where your numbers are going to fit in at. You're going to lock it in with a purchase agreement. You're going to market the deal to your buyer's list. Your buyer's list is your list of prospective real estate investors, because one of those real estate investors are going to be your assignee. You're going to then sell your contract rights for free. So you're going to sell your interest in a contract for a fee. Okay. Now, this is how you're going to get paid that assignment fee. So that fee that you're going to receive for selling over your contract rights, this is how you're going to make money. This is an example. You get a house under contract for $100,000. You assign it to an investor for $115,000. Your profit is $15,000 assignment fee. Okay. So again, let's do this again. You get the house under contract for $100,000. You assign it to an investor for $115,000. Your profit is $15,000 assignment fee. Now, the assignee which is the investor, which is also the end buyer. That is the person that is on your buyer's list. The assignee is the person who buys your contract, steps into your position in the deal, actually closes on the property. So in simple, they're the ones with the money who finishes the deal. Now, here's what they actually do. They pay your assignment fee. So they're going to pay that $15,000 assignment fee. They're going to take over the contract. They're going to close with the seller. Usually, this is a fix and flip type of deal. This is a rental property type of deal. This is a buy and hold type of property deal. But this is what they're going to do. Understand, when it comes to the assignment fee, you only get that at closing. You don't get that before closing, because what if the deal doesn't go through? So I need you to understand that, but you will have an assignment agreement. Now, here's how it actually works together. You, the assignor, which is the wholesaler, gets the property under contract. You, as the assignor, as the wholesaler, find a buyer, which is on your buyer's list, or maybe the outreach marketing you have done. That person now, as the buyer, is the real estate investor. They are the assignee. Now, that buyer, which is the assignee, agrees to your price, which is that $115,000. Because remember, the seller agreed to $100,000. You as the assignor, assigns the contract to the assignee, which is the investor. Now, the assignee closes the deal at the closing table. You, as the assignor / wholesaler, gets paid at the closing table. Okay. Now, and also, this is also why it is important to make sure you close as a assignor, that you're not doing this in your name. You are doing this in your entity name. Your entity could be your corporation, your LLC, because most of the time, or some of the time, this is going to go on a settlement statement at closing. And them paying John Doe, can look some type of way. So if you want to keep everything professional, you make sure that you actually incorporate your wholesale business so you can get paid at the closing table from the assignee. Now, wholesaling, what I need you to really understand, this is, it's kind of like chess, right? Some people play checkers, some people play chess, and I will say anybody can play checkers. Once you look at it a couple of times, everybody can't play chess, no matter how hard they learn. So with that being said, wholesaling is not about owning the property. It's about controlling the deals. It's about solving sellers' problems. It's about connecting buyers to different opportunities. Wholesaling is about marketing and networking. Wholesaling is about knowing opportunities when you see them. So let me break this down a little more for you as a wholesaler. Here's the key role. So when it comes to the position as a wholesaler, you are the assignor. You are the middleman. Your assignee is the end buyer, is the investor. Now, when it comes to the assignee and assignor role in wholesaling, the risk that's involved, okay? For you as a wholesaler, the assignor is low. If it's structured right, it's really no risk, okay? For an assignee, it's always going to be a high risk, because what if their property don't appraise out? What if they're not working with a real good finance company? What if they lose, their earnest money that was put down? So there are some risks that's involved when it comes to the assignee. And that's why I says when it comes to real estate wholesaling, it's truly about the opportunities and building the relationships, because again, people do business with people they like, people do business with people they trust. And as a real estate investor, some real estate investors, worked with wholesalers in the past, and for them, it didn't turn out good. So you need to make sure that you are that assignor and a wholesaler that they trust to avoid having it as high risk as possible. Now, when it comes to the assignor and the assignee, the money that's needed, very little for the money that's needed. And when I say very little for the money that is needed, is because there is a situation where as a wholesaler, you may need to pay earnest money, right? So the earnest money that you have to pay, that is based upon what the seller is, the seller is agreeing upon. The seller may turn around and say $1,000 that you need, right? And not to mention, outside of the earnest money, yes, you can still turn around and charge your assignee earnest money, because of course you need to get that back. So yes, I absolutely would charge my assignee, which is my real estate investor, earnest money, because at the end of the day, they still have to put some skin in the game. If I am going out as a real estate wholesaler and I'm putting my earnest money down and I'm out here marketing and spending my time doing the marketing, absolutely, they should pay the earnest money fee just like I had to pay an earnest money fee. When it comes to the money needed for the assignee, the money that is needed for the assignee is going to be more so, the money that is needed is simply going to be the money that they need to close with on top of the earnest money. So that's going to be the cash, whether it's the hard money, or any type of financing that's going to be required. Now, as far as profits, okay, the profits that is needed for the assignor, which is the wholesaler, is the assignment fee. So as a wholesaler, you are going to receive an assignment fee. However, when it comes to the assignee, which is the buyer, which is your end investor, that is the profit from the property. So your profit is going to be the profit from the property as a real estate investor. And what I mean by that is, after you turn around and rehab the property and you sell the property, it is the profit. Now, if you're a buy and hold type real estate investor / assignee / end buyer, then the difference is that particular money right there is going to, you may turn around and say, okay, this is going to be a buy and hold situation. I want to put tenants in there. Again, your profit is going to be your NOI that is coming in, your cap rate after everything is being paid on that property, after you're receiving rents on that property, that is going to be your profit. Now, when it comes to being a real estate wholesaler / assignor, the stronger your buyers list, the easier your business become. So never stop building that buyers list. Please don't. Do not stop. Keep building that list, building that list, building that list. Because at the end of the day, no buyer equals no deal equals no assignment fee. So what I want you to remember is, when it comes to real estate wholesaling as an assignor, is it easy to make money? Yes, it is absolutely easy to make money. But it's really up to what you put into it. It's all up to you, how much you put into it for you to grow your business. So with that being said, I am Ebony Beco with Home Loans Network, and this is the Real Estate Wholesale Deal platform. I will love for you to follow me on all social media platforms, and those particular links are going to be in the descriptions. And then make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel or even the the podcast for up-to-date videos and audios on real estate wholesaling.